I don't get sick easily, but even I felt extremely ill listening to this. So if you want to listen to it, feel free, but don't say I didn't warn you. Austin, I believe you pronounce his last name Haruf, was a college frat student that committed a crime that honestly, I don't even know what word to use to describe. This was in Florida in 2016. Austin's dad was more of the strict parent. His mom was more chill. He had a younger sister named Haley. His parents got divorced when he was a teenager, and him and Haley moved in with his mom. In middle school, he was your pretty average kid. He was a good student, got good grades, but he did get bullied a lot for his weight. In high school, he got really obsessed with his appearance, and he got really into health and fitness and also joined the football team. After high school, he went to Florida State University. He joined a frat, Alpha Delta Phi. He studied exercise science. He was your typical college boy. He drank a lot, maybe too much. He would party a lot, always out on a regular basis. Yeah, not much to say. He was just having fun his freshman year. He met a girl who became his girlfriend, had a good group of friends, had a fun time. It was the summer after his freshman year of college where things started to go wrong. After his freshman year, he decided he wanted to sober up. He did not want to be anywhere near anything that may be harmful to his body. He was going to eat clean, work out, take care of himself, and be better, in his own words. That summer, he also got really into music and rapping. He wanted to become a famous rapper. He was very passionate about it and started referring to himself as Austy Frosty. He got a job working for his dad. His dad was a dentist, and his attitude while working there was questionable. He got way too involved in his clients' personal lives. He would ask them questions almost to the point where it would make them uncomfortable and would get really attached and really involved in their personal lives and their problems. Still in the summer of 2016, he went to Tampa to go visit his girlfriend, and after he returned from the visit is when his entire personality changed. His parents said he came back from that trip as an entirely different person. All of his viewpoints on anything and everything had changed. Austin said he was evolving into this different person who had found his mission and his passion for life, and that was going to be to help people. He said he would be remembered as this great figure who did incredible things. He was never going to be sad anymore, and he found his purpose, which is great, but it was the way that he would talk about these things that made them weird. He would text his girlfriend telling her about this new person that he was going to be, and he would say things such as, "I'm sorry you think I'm so strange now. I've been so weird these past few days. I don't think I'm going crazy, but I am no longer afraid of anything." Little comments like that just made the whole thing sound off. This change of character progressed to the point where Austin started to believe that he was Jesus. He thought that he could bless water and make it holy. He started dressing like Jesus, and he even said that he was scared of the devil. He thought there were demons living around them everywhere, and he would see these dark figures and get really scared that they were going to kill him and or his family, and he was going to protect them from these scary demons. At the same time that he was believing that he was Jesus and he was scared of the devil, he was also believing that he was part human, part dog. Different days, he would think that he was part human, part horse. Yes, horse, like the animal. The way that his character and his personality was changing at such a rapid pace, to me, is a sign that he was struggling mentally. And his Google searches support that as well. He was Googling things such as ways to overcome fear and anxiety, selling your soul to the devil, how to know if you are going crazy, I think I am going crazy, am I? And then he would research things such as schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, panic, and bipolar disorder. So obviously something very weird and confusing is going on inside of his brain, and by his Google searches, it's obvious that he was confused by that as well. On top of that, he wasn't sleeping. He was averaging 2 hours a night on a good night of sleep. August 13, he goes out to dinner with his father and his father's girlfriend, and his dad says that night he was acting very frazzled, very confused, and almost on edge, all over the place, anxious, switching from being in a great mood, thinking that he was this powerful guy, to then being really scared and terrified of everyone around him. August 14th, he goes to a weapons show with his dad. It's very obvious that he's scared of something, but we don't really know what he was scared of. He was asking the people that were selling weapons there about self-defense and how to protect himself, and he did end up buying a knife at that show. The next day, August 15th, 2016, is the day of the crime. I'm going to be talking about the day and what he did during that day. It's going to sound crazy. It's kind of all over the place, but I'm gonna try and make it easy to follow. That morning, he went on a run, which in itself is not weird. However, he was in the mood where he thought he was part dog during his run, so he started running on all fours. In the afternoon, he goes to his dad's house to pick up his car that he had left there. His dad notices that he's acting really strange, so he doesn't want to give him his keys, but Austin just goes crazy. He jumps on top of the car and starts jumping up and down, creating a scene until his dad eventually does give him his keys. One of his fraternity brothers was having a party, so he stops by there that night. He doesn't want to drink because remember, he's taking good care of his body now, but he takes a beer and pours it all over him because he says that he has to feed his hand beer. Later on, he goes to dinner again with his dad. He is acting very weird and just runs out of the restaurant because he says that he feels trapped. He then ends up back at his mom's house, so where he lives, and the mom is immediately concerned. He eventually ends up back outside and is just running around the streets. He's running around and he sees a dark figure that in his eyes is a demon, and he starts running around looking for help until he runs into the house of John and Michelle Stevens. John was 59. He owned a landscaping company, and Michelle was 53. She worked in finance. They were retired by this point. John and Michelle were described by their friends and family as very friendly, very kind, just genuinely nice people. Austin sees them sitting in the garage watching TV. The lights are on, so he runs over toward them. You have this 19-year-old boy screaming in a panic, very visibly unstable, running towards you. Obviously, that would cause anyone to freak out, so Michelle starts screaming because she doesn't know what's going on. Austin sees Michelle freaking out, and in his head, he now thinks that she is evil, and he's now scared of her. Austin pulls out the knife that he had bought at that show and starts stabbing both Michelle and John. He then grabs a machete from the garage and starts stabbing them further. While he's doing that, he finds a bottle of bleach in the garage and he just takes that and starts chugging it. Next to Michelle and John lived a man named Jeff Fisher. He hears the commotion, so he walks outside and into the garage to see what's going on. Austin attacks him and is now stabbing him. Jeff is somehow luckily able to run away and get back into his house. He calls 911, lets them know that he has been stabbed in the head and in the back. He's bleeding profusely, and there's a guy stabbing a woman and a man inside of their garage. Around that same time, Austin's mom calls 911 and says that she is worried. She doesn't know where her son is, but she is scared of his safety because he had been acting weird. The police show up to Michelle and John's house, and if you're eating, brace yourselves for this. Maybe stop eating for a second. Austin is hovering on the ground over John's body. He's making animal noises. He's practically naked and still stabbing them. That's not the worst part. The worst part is that Austin is hovering over John, biting his face and eating it. The cops can hear the sound of flesh ripping because Austin is chewing off John's face and eating it. The cops could not get Austin off of John. They tried a taser, it wasn't working. They sent a police dog to get him off, it wasn't working. Eventually, I'm not sure how long it took, but it took 4 policemen and the dog to get Austin eventually off of John. Once he's in handcuffs, he says to the police, "Help me, I've eaten something bad." The cops say, "What did you eat?" And he just responded and said, "Humans." John and Michelle were pronounced at the scene. Luckily, the neighbor Jeff was okay. He had horrible injuries, but he did live. Austin was taken to the hospital because he had a lot of injuries. He did have human flesh in his teeth, but he also had cuts all over him. His tongue was cut open and had pretty bad internal injuries because he had chugged that bottle of bleach. When he was taken to the hospital, they thought that he was under the influence of something, but they tested him and there was nothing in his system. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder with psychotic features. 2 months after that, he was charged with the murders of Michelle and John and the attempted murder of Jeff. Everyone around him was concerned for him because his character just changed completely and he was acting so strange. They did schedule him a therapy appointment, but that appointment was not scheduled until after the attack and it was obviously way too late. Austin remembers bits and pieces of the attack, but he pretty much blacked out and his mental state was just completely destroyed. The trial was delayed because of the pandemic, but the judge accepted a plea deal. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity. There was an agreement between the prosecution and the defense for Austin to be sent to a secure mental hospital until doctors and a judge agreed that he was no longer dangerous. But the last update I could find was from last year. He's still in the facility for an indefinite period of time. I'm pretty sure he's still there and hopefully there's been some progress or something has been done. I don't know. I just can't imagine ending the lives of 2 people eating their flesh and then being able to repair your mental state to be normal again. I don't know, the brain is such an interesting thing, and it's crazy to me that we all have brains, but they all can be wired so differently, and psychotic breakdowns and mental breakdowns are so interesting, like the science behind that. Let me know what you think. I have no words, so I'm gonna exit now, but I will be in the comments, and I love you all.